With the Eagles having 20 draft picks in the next 2 drafts, the Eagles are not only trading up once, but I think they could trade up multiple times. Dallas still stinks.
What teams are we most likely to see in the trade market here in the coming weeks as we get closer to the draft?
Your defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Over the next 2 drafts, the Eagles are scheduled to have 20 draft picks. 20. They can't have 20 players make their roster. Their roster is too good and too deep to have all these picks.
You but the way it kicked Dingbat here, and as Adam Schefter said, the Eagles are going to be busy making trades during the draft. I have no doubt about it. Now, I will be 100% honest. I think this is one of the most difficult drafts the Eagles have had, trying to gauge an idea of what they're going to do. They could go so many different ways, and so many things are possible. We just don't know. I think the Eagles personally will trade up. However, they could easily trade back. We're going to find out very, very soon. The one thing I feel confident about, I don't think this team is going to be at 32. And they may be sitting there right now, in all honesty, going, we don't know what the hell we're going to do yet. We got to wait and see how things, play out. What we do know is this. The Eagles have 11 visits left to go. We've got 11 more visits. Who will they bring in? Because if you just looked at what the Eagles have done in terms of bringing in guys to visit, I would say that I think the Eagles look like they're going to trade out of the first round. Now, I'm basing that on if you only look at just who they brought in for a visit. To me, there's a lot of guys that really aren't first-round picks. They're going to be day 2 picks. There may be some guys that could fall in the first round, but easily could fall out of the second round. So we just don't know. But the Eagles today, it was announced that they're bringing in a safety for a visit. Now, this is going to be the first safety that they've brought in for a visit. Jalen Reed, the safety from Penn State. He's expected to be a late day 2 pick, early day 3 pick, and that may be exactly where the Eagles are going to go out and try to get a safety. Here's the list as we got it. There's 19 guys that have come in for a visit. That means the Eagles have 11 left, okay? And some of the guys that recently came in since the last video we've done, Jalen Reed, TJ Sanders, Nick Scorton, Trey Amos, Jacob Parrish, Shamar Turner, and we've talked about all these other guys. But this is the list that have come in for visits. The Eagles, and the reason I make a big deal about the visits is because that's when the Eagles usually, that's where they usually go off of. They usually go off of who comes in for visits. Now, there's a couple things I want to point out here. First thing, it's interesting to me that you have all of a sudden, you have a bunch of cornerbacks coming. You have Trey Amos, Jacob Parrish, right? Those guys have recently come in. You already had Maxwell Harrison come in before. Could the Eagles look to go cornerback in round 1? Could that be a possibility? I don't know about round 1, but maybe round 2. So I think that's very interesting. The other thing that I think is very interesting is, 1, you've only had 1 safety come in for a visit, okay? And 2, you've had no tight ends in for a visit. If you look at the list of guys they have brought in, there has been no tight ends. Now, with the 11 remaining visits, if they start to become safeties and tight ends, I'm going to feel like that the Eagles were saving those guys for last to try to keep teams guessing what they were going to do as late as possible. But for all the nonsense and all the talk about Dallas Goedert going, the Eagles need a tight end, they have not brought in 1 tight end. What does that tell you? Is this team getting ready to keep Goedert? I hope so. I hope that means Goddard's going to stay. But no tight ends have come in for a visit. I actually think that's pretty remarkable right now. We'll see how the last few go because they may start to come in now. I think that the Eagles, it's very possible that the guys that they look at trading up for in the first round, guys that like that, they're going to save for like late in the draft process to come in for a visit. That way they kind of throw teams out. If you look at the list at what we have right here, I'm sorry, but this list looks more to me like they're looking to trade out. Now, I don't think the Eagles are going to trade out, okay? I don't think that'll happen. But will they take a safety early? Will they take a tight end? Two positions they don't draft in the first round. They don't draft tight ends. Last tight end went in the first round, I think, was Keith Jackson. And then, I couldn't even tell you the last first round safety that they drafted. So they don't do it. Now they've got some corners here. Could they actually go out and get a corner? That's going to be the question we're going to see, you know. However, I still think the play is to trade up. And the reason why I think the play is to trade up is because you've got 20 picks in the next 2 years. There's no way they're going to have that many guys picked, okay? This team really was not aggressive in free agency. Let's be honest. They were not. They accomplished their goal and what they wanted to do, right? They wanted to get Bond signed. They wanted to get Saquon Barkley an extension, and they've done what they've had to do. But they haven't been aggressive. I expect them to start really trying to add to this roster in the draft. I think that's where they're going to. I think they're looking for impact day one starter in the first round. I do. I think they want somebody that they can plug in and play. Can they start? Maybe not. But can they rotate in if they're edge rusher? Yes. If they're a safety, could they start? Very possible. If they're a corner, can they start? That's a great question. You could bring in a cornerback, like let's say Trey Amos or somebody like that, and let him compete. I think it's very possible. It's very interesting how things are playing out, but I really think the last 11, these last 11 that are going to come in for a visit, to me, is going to tell us everything we need to know. I just can't see the Eagles trading out of this pick. I really can't. Well, I even more so, I'll say this. Even more so, I can't see them staying at 32. But, I mean, they've got a lot of picks. I don't think they're going, and Adam Schefter said they got a lot of picks. They're going to trade some of those picks. Now, could they trade for a player? This is an absolutely interesting idea. And the Eagles have done this before. They've done things like this before, where they trade picks for players. We remember remember when they brought in Swift and A.J. Brown. I mean, they have done this before. Would they trade a first-round pick for a player? I don't know about that. But I do think that a player getting traded to come in and play right away, yeah, I think that's definitely going to happen. That could be where you address your tight end. That could also be where you address your safety. We just don't know. To me, this is one of the most fascinating draft scenarios for the Eagles. The other reason why I think that they're going to trade up and they're not going to want to trade out of the first round is I think the Eagles really value that option year. I think they really like having the guys with that fifth-year option. It gives them time. It gives them ability to maneuver. It gives them time to get an extension. When you sign a guy or you draft a guy in the second round, then you don't get that option year. You got 4 years. I mean, Cooper DeJean is going to really have to be extended like the same exact time as Q, actually maybe even before him, because Q's got that option year to work with. So I don't know how much the Eagles want to give that up. One thing we also got to think about is the quarterback situation. How many quarterbacks are going to go in this draft? If you get 4 quarterbacks go in this draft and a couple guys are getting ready to fall out of the first round, or somewhere around there, you may get teams like the New York Giants that want to trade up. Like, think about this. The Giants, right, it sounded like they were going to go Shedeur Sanders. Now it's sounding like the Giants might not take a quarterback with that pick. So if they don't get a quarterback at that pick, they're going to try to get one early in the second round. Well, if they think somebody's going to go, are they willing to pay the Eagles to jump up and get them with the last pick in the first round? Will a team overpay the Eagles in the first round to the point where you have to go out there and make the trade? So there's a lot of things, and we're going to see how it all falls in place. But I've got a feeling we're going to start to see tight ends come in. We're going to start to see some safeties come in, and maybe some guys that, bigger names that you would think the Eagles would have to make a move up for draft visits. Because like I said, I personally, and this is just my opinion, what the hell do I know? You know what I mean? But my feeling is, with all those picks in the next 2 years, to me, I think it's more likely the Eagles trade up and then trade back up again, because you've got so many picks. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that the Eagles are going to be the most active team in the draft. And I hope so. I mean, this has been the most dead time since probably the last time they won the Super Bowl. I just don't remember it being so slow with just things going on, even rumors, even hearing things. It's been quiet. And I think the Eagles are getting ready to get really active in this draft. And I look at this list as the foundation of kind of what they want to do. But we've got 11 spots left. We've got to see how it falls. I think we're going to start to see safeties, which we saw one finally today. And I think we're going to see a couple tight ends. And to me, that's going to tell me they were holding out until late in the process to kind of throw teams off. Just my opinion. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. And remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. One thing I kind of forgot to talk about that I wanted to talk about was Justin Simmons. He was up on NFL Network, and he was talking about how going to Philly would be such a perfect thing to go and play with Vic Fangio. It wouldn't be like being in Atlanta, because Atlanta, that was all new for him. He knows a lot more than, what's going on with Vic Fangio and stuff like that. And look, maybe the Eagles go ahead and do it. I don't know. Maybe they go ahead and do it. But to me, I want to see this team get a safety, man. I want to see them get a safety that can come in and start. Let the young guys play. It worked so well for you last year. Why change things up? But, what are you going to do? Denzel Washington out. So just a quick reminder that right now, the Jalen Hurts Main Thing shirts, MVP, they are flying right now. We just got some more t-shirts in. We still have hoodies. We also got the premium one. Everybody's been liking that. So I just want to let you guys know, in the description, if you're down, if you want to get this piece of history, you still have time, because they're still available. And definitely don't miss out. These are my favorite merchandise that we have done. And listen, I haven't even gotten mine yet. Okay, because they've been going so fast with people buying them that I haven't even got mine yet. I'm gonna have to wait, but everybody loves it, so check it out. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.